Claymore here. Haven't made a video for a while. Kind of a snowy day today. Didn't want to go outside, so I thought I'd just do like a coffee tabletop review of a new kukri that I got, which is this one right here. This is from Kailash blades out of Nepal. This model is called the Pensioner. The story on the Pensioner is that somebody had a knife, a kukri knife that was made by a company called HD or H something Pensioner, and he wanted a new blade made. So they made one, and they've been copying that model ever since. So this is it. This one has, I believe that's a 15-inch blade, and maybe it's 13, I don't remember. I remember it's longer than my old one. Yeah, 13 to the handle, a little more than 13. It is, let's see, how wide is it? Calipers here, haven't measured it yet. 0.219 inches. There is their distal taper. 0.205, so a little bit. 0.185, so yeah, there's distal taper. This knife with the scabbard weighs, back in here, let's see, well, that's 2 pounds exactly, maybe a hair over, a couple of grains over. So 2 pounds, which I think is ideal. My old kukri, this one, which was a gift from my son a few years ago, weighs 2 pounds, so 7 ounces. A little heavier. This one is a cold steel kukri. It weighs 1 pound, 7 ounces. So, yeah. So completely 1.5 pounds, 2.5 pounds, 2 pounds. This tomahawk from cold steel weighs 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So, yeah, a little background on my interest in kukris. I bought my first one when I was a teenager, I'm going to guess 16 years old, from a discount store in Lethbridge, Alberta. And it was basically a tourist kukri. It was small, the blade was thick, you couldn't get an edge on it, the handle was tiny. It was basically a decorator piece or a toy. And I played around a little bit, I thought it was cool, and then I've had an interest in them ever since. So as an adult, about 15 years ago, I bought this one from Cold Steel, mostly because I was strapped for cash at the time, not like now, and I think I paid like $24. So I bought one for myself and one for each of my sons. And I reprofiled the edge, and this thing cuts like crazy. It's excellent. The handle's really, really good. It's grippy. It's got the traditional flare on the end, and it's also got a little bit of space there where your hand isn't going to slide forward. So handle design from Cold Steel on these things is ideal, I think. They took all the best parts of the traditional handle and then incorporated a little bit of modern handle, and yeah, it just works. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this, and I've used it a lot too. I didn't like the original scabbard that came with it, so I made a leather one, and it's worked fine, and it's set up so that I carry it on my left side. I remember when I first got this and I went out in the bush and started chopping some limbs and stuff. I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't chopping right through like stuff that was this thick. It would take a couple of whacks, and I thought that, you know, these things were magic and they would just cleave through anything, but they have limitations. They're good choppers, but they're not magic. They're not samurai sword magic. Anyways, then I can't remember how many years ago I got this one. My son bought me this kukri for Christmas. This is from ex-Gurkha Kukri House, so in Nepal. It says EGKH there. Nepal there. This model, I think it was an Afghan Freedom or Desert Storm or something model. It had a piece of steel that stuck out here with a lanyard hole in it, and all that did was poke me in the ribs, so I cut that off. Rosewood handles, riveted. This thing is quite thick. You can see there, I'll measure it. Yeah, 0.379. And not a lot of distal taper. It holds, yeah, 0.397. It's actually thicker right there than it is there. And it's heavy, and it does chop really well. I did a little grinding on the blade. I didn't like the way it was too curved, too apple-seedy, and when you were chopping, it would skip. And that just, to me, it felt dangerous. So it's a little more of a flat grind now, and now when you chop, it doesn't tend to skip. So it's a little safer, I think. The handle is cracking, to be expected with natural, with wood. It's not going to fall apart, but it does have some cracks in it. Here again, they got away from the traditional thing. There isn't a lot of flare on the back. There is a little guard section there, and then this hump here to basically lock it in your hand, and it locks in pretty good. But that hump is right where your strong fingers are, and to me, it's not the most comfortable. It works, but it's not exactly what I want. I do like the angle. The point is closer to your line of your handle. Traditionally, I think the really, really old kukris were quite curved, which this one is. But this one works really good, and I like it. I've used it a lot. The scabbard on this one is excellent. I put my own frog on it, again angled so that I carry it on my left side with the handle sticking out. This sheath is very seasonal aware. In the winter, when it gets dry, it shrinks and it gets hard to pull this out, so I actually had to put a little oil in there, and olive oil, and just work it back and forth a little bit, and now it comes out nice and easy, even though it's the middle of winter. I'm probably talking too fast, but I don't care. This is the new one, the Kailash. So I wanted one with a traditional handle and a little longer blade. Compare these two. You can see the Kailash one, the pensioner model, is quite a bit longer than this one. And I think it's about the same as this one. Yeah, for all intents and purposes. So it measures 13 inches from there to there. I think I did that already. So yeah, this buffalo horn handle, steel fittings. It has the, I don't know what you call those, that you lock your fingers into in your hand, and it doesn't move on you, and then it's got the flare here so it doesn't fly out of your hand. It feels really good. It's got the traditional cutouts. I don't know what they're called. Chopra? I don't know. It's got a fuller here and a big wide fuller here that takes a lot of weight off. And yeah, being lighter than this one, it feels livelier in the hand. You know, you can, and it has a lot more curve to it. And also, this one here in this section, then the handle curves down from there too, whereas in both of these others, there's not as much curve there. It's either, well, this blade is kind of curved all the way, but the handle is closer to that middle section. This one, that's just more the traditional design from the like 1800s kind of thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using this. I played around with it in the house here a little bit, and chopped a couple of sticks I had lying around. It chops good. So I'm looking forward to getting out and using it in the bush, which I would do today, but it's snowing and it's not very pleasant out there. I ordered it sharpened, and it's pretty sharp. It'll cut paper, but it doesn't, it's a little jagged edged yet, and it's hard to get at the right angle, but nothing wrong with that. So I did touch it up a little bit just to basically smooth it out. So yeah, it's sharp, and I'm looking forward to using it. These notches work perfectly with a ferro rod. Ferro rod fits right in there, so you don't move the knife. You can hold the knife down like this on your little pile of tinder and go, and you get a good shower of sparks. So this will be good for starting fires too. The scabbard, typical leather over wood. This is the military style frog with little buttons so you can adjust it. They had 3 holes cut in it for basically a wide web belt. So I had to make another hole just for a narrower, like 1.5" regular belt that I normally wear, 1.5", maybe 2 inch. Plus it has these loops here, which you could use to carry it on a belt vertically, horizontally, which I don't like carrying a knife that way, because I suppose the idea is that you carry it behind your back, but if you've ever bucked off a horse and landed on that part of your back on a root, you know it knocks the wind out of you, and if you fall down when you have something there, it takes the wind out of you, so that's not pleasant. So I don't carry anything on the small of my back. You can actually hurt yourself pretty seriously that way. Anyways, that's my Kailash blades kukri. The fit of the buffalo horn handle to the steel is perfect. It is a buffalo horn. It's a natural material, so there's some, I don't know if you want to call it flaws, but blemishes in it. I don't care. It's not a show piece, it's a using piece, and it feels very grippy, and yeah, there's just nothing I don't like about this. I mean, it's light to the point where it would be considered, I suppose, a martial arts, a good martial arts blade, because it is quick and handy. The blade profile means that you could thrust with it, but because it's so much off center, you basically be holding it like a hammer to thrust straight, whereas this one, it thrusts really nice. So it'll be interesting to compare the 2 different ones, these 2 at least. This one, the cold steel is basically a machete, you know. These 2 are more like, well, this is a real kukri. They both are. This is just a modern handled kukri. So it'll be interesting to compare the 2. I think I may end up having to order another one someday with a little less drop in the blade, but the same general shape, and the handle maybe a little straighter. We'll see. I suspect this thing's just going to chop like a billy be damned. Anyways, thanks for watching me ramble on about kukris, which you can spell it any way you want. You can spell it K-U-K-R-I, K-H-U-K-R-I, or you can spell it Khukri, K-H-U-K-R-I, whatever. I think the actual pronunciation is Khukuri, with a K in the middle, and that gets shortened to Khukri. I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but spelling doesn't really matter. We're not Nepalese. We anglicized everything. So Khukri. That's a Khukri. Thanks for watching. Oh, hound dog says time to go outside.